Imagine waking up tomorrow. Your bank doesn't work. Your favorite streaming platform disappears. Online stores stop loading. Food delivery applications go offline. Business dashboards go dark. Video calls fail. Entire companies stop operating. Not because the internet is broken. Not because hackers attacked. Not because governments intervened. But because one invisible layer suddenly vanished. A layer most people never think about. A layer powering countless businesses. A layer supporting entire industries. The modern economy appears decentralized. Millions of websites, millions of applications, millions of companies. But beneath that diversity lies concentration. And much of that concentration exists inside buildings filled with machines. Machines owned by Amazon. Machines rented by the world. Welcome to the cloud economy. Before cloud computing, companies owned their infrastructure. They purchased servers. They built data centers. They hired specialists. They planned capacity years in advance. If traffic increased unexpectedly, systems failed. If demand decreased, resources sat unused. Computing was expensive, slow, rigid. Growth required capital. Expansion required prediction, and prediction is often wrong. The internet was growing rapidly, but the infrastructure supporting it remained inefficient. Then Amazon noticed something unusual. It had already solved this problem for itself, and that solution would eventually reshape the global economy.
History tends to repeat itself. Factories once generated their own electricity. Eventually, they stopped. Why build power plants when power could be rented? Cloud computing followed the same pattern. Why own servers when computing could be rented? Why invest millions upfront when infrastructure could be accessed instantly? The answer changed everything. Because ownership and access create very different economies, and the future increasingly belonged to access.
Most people believe AWS sells cloud services, but cloud services are merely the surface. The deeper reality is infrastructure access. AWS transformed computing into a utility, like electricity, like water, like telecommunications. Businesses no longer needed to own the foundation. They could rent it, by the hour, by the minute, by the request. This changed the economics of entrepreneurship. Startups no longer needed enormous capital. Developers no longer needed physical infrastructure. Companies could scale globally from day one. The world celebrated flexibility, but something else was happening. Dependency was growing, quietly. Every application built on AWS increased the importance of AWS itself. Every new customer strengthened the system. Every migration deepened integration. This is infrastructure economics. The more successful your customers become, the more indispensable your infrastructure becomes. Most users interact with applications. Most businesses focus on products, but infrastructure operates beneath both, invisible, silent, essential. Consumers see Netflix. Infrastructure sees computing demand. Consumers see Spotify. Infrastructure sees storage demand. Consumers see startups. Infrastructure sees workloads. From the perspective of AWS, every digital business becomes a customer, and every customer becomes recurring revenue. The genius of infrastructure is simplicity. It profits from success, regardless of who succeeds. The next breakthrough application might fail. The next social platform might disappear. The next startup might collapse. But as long as digital activity grows, the infrastructure layer continues collecting value.
As cloud adoption accelerated, something unexpected emerged. Companies stopped buying infrastructure. They started renting it, month after month, year after year. The economics looked attractive. The flexibility was undeniable. The convenience was extraordinary. But dependence continued increasing. Applications became intertwined with cloud services. Operations became dependent on cloud architecture. Entire businesses became built around external infrastructure. Leaving became difficult. Migration became expensive. Complexity became a barrier, and barriers strengthened systems. This is why infrastructure often becomes more powerful than products. Products compete. Infrastructure accumulates dependency.
The industrial age was dominated by landlords of physical assets: land, railroads, pipelines, ports. The digital age introduced something new: digital landlords, owners of computational infrastructure, owners of connectivity, owners of cloud capacity, owners of the foundations beneath modern commerce. Most businesses focus on creating value. Infrastructure businesses focus on capturing flow, because controlling the foundation often proves more above it. The visible outcome is cloud revenue. The invisible cause is dependency. The visible outcome is growth. The invisible cause is infrastructure ownership. The lesson extends beyond Amazon. Infrastructure repeatedly becomes the deepest layer of value creation. The companies generating the most leverage often own the systems others rely upon, not because they build every product, but because they enable every product. Modern builders increasingly leverage existing foundations: cloud platforms, frameworks, digital infrastructure, scalable systems. They focus less on ownership and more on orchestration. For viewers interested in exploring some of the infrastructure resources, frameworks, and digital foundations referenced throughout modern system design, curated resources can be found in the description below. Most people see websites. AWS sees workloads. Most people see applications. AWS sees infrastructure demand. Most people see digital businesses. AWS sees recurring dependency. And those who own the foundation often capture the greatest share of value, because the most powerful companies do not always build the visible economy. Sometimes they build the invisible layer supporting it. This is Nexera, decoding systems, architecting wealth.